Hi guys, how are you?
Pretty good. How are you?
Well, thanks.
Good.
How's the temperature on the island?
Hot.
Is that is it perpetually hot there?
With during the year the average is 27. This day it says 35, but it felt like 42.
Oh gosh. And is it humid?
Big time, yeah.
Yeah. So you just sweat and sweat.
This is the first time I've seen you without wearing a jumper.
Yeah, for some reason I don't feel cold.
Ah, um, I just had a quick question because I mean, I know it's my perception, um, but I'm finding it, and I mean, I've always been a bit sensitive to the world, but I'm finding it more increasingly challenging to go out into the world because I find and I know, to do the inquiry, but it's so physical, and I know because the mind connects to the body. But my question is, I'm going to have to be driving more, and people in Australia are, and it's probably everywhere in the world, but just in the biggest rush in their big cars, and it's really scary for me because I'm trying to be peaceful on the road, and then you have these cars coming at you and beeping. Or I'm not good at doing roads that do this up and down mountains, and all the people are here and they get really mad at me because I'm not speeding. So how do I, in my car, even when there's conflict, just bring it back to zero without bothering my nervous system so much? Because it happened yesterday. And I
Wait,
had like three dogs jump on me at the beach, and I'm like, what's going on? So just trying to stay centered without getting so. I felt really angry yesterday, and then I felt disappointed because I got angry.
focusing on the eye that experiences all that feels all that.
Because I watch it arise, and I'm like, okay, it's coming. Okay, you're here. But then sometimes it overtakes me, and then I'm already in the loop.
It's not, it's coming. To whom is it coming? Right. This is where the attention goes. To the I itself that claims to be the experiencer of all that, the one that says is coming, right? There must be an experiencer of what is coming, right?
Mm.
Who is it? I or me.
And
Okay, then let's pay attention or bring the attention to this I, to this me.
so when there's fear, just bring attention to the
No, no,
fear.
no, 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 permanently. This cannot be done casually, right?
All right.
We can start casually. This has to be done, so to speak, done throughout the whole awakened state. We may have to spend some time, see, in our spare time, just focus on oneself. Eventually, this self-awareness will expand, see, throughout the whole awakened state, even though it will go even in your dreams
Mm.
or your sleep, however you like to call it.
So at all times.
Yes. Again, the inquiry is being used only as a pain,
Uh, hmm I
so
see what you mean.
like a anesthesia or something.
Mm. Like, oh, it's challenging. Oh, I better inquire. Instead of doing that, it should just be a consistent practice.
Correct.
Or yes,
Yes.
yeah, that makes sense.
without getting distracted with thoughts, feelings, emotions, body sensations, and perceptions. To summarize it, right? This is basically the summary of our experiences, right? Thoughts, feelings, emotions, bodily sensations, and sensory perception objects. All that might be there. We are not concerned about any of it. See? The main focus of attention, you may be paying attention to that. You may be aware of all of that. But we have to be aware of the one that is aware, conscious of the one that is conscious. Who is this I that claims to be the one that is conscious of something? And this is the meaning
So
of holding on the I thought, holding the I thought. Holding means to keep the attention on it. Once the attention is on it, no more effort is required. The attention may remain on it effortlessly for some time, but the mind, due to its tendencies, it will get externalized again, see, and rush out. Never mind, that's okay. Right? From where that thought came from, again, from me, see. So the mind is the source of the thought, right? And the self is the source of the mind. Understanding by the mind, this thought I, this conscious I, this conscious self. If we do so, it's like an invocation to the self, see, to reveal itself. And this I will disappear as me. It will remain there just as a shadow, see, as a reflection of yourself. This I will disappear only when the body dies and if the ego is gone. If this I still keeps something within itself, this I is what reincarnates the mind. It is said that our last thought is going to be the first one.
yeah, I heard that.
Later on, right? Who is this I? Or from where this I emerged? One of the two, it's okay. See, I is the subject. I is the subject, right? The seer, the knower, the perceiver, the awarer, the conscious one, whatever it is that you like to call it, right? It is, everybody knows it as I. And everybody believes that this I is I. See, what we actually are. If you fix your attention on this I, on the subject, then the subject is what? Disassociated from any other phenomenon, right? That is created by this I itself. But this I is a thought. It may be super subtle, but it still is a thought. Then when the thought I is not associated with other thoughts, then it subsides, right? And that where the mind subsides, this is actually what I actually is. See what we really are.
When you were going through your process, did you find like I think you said before, it's painful when the ego tries to hold on, that process of,
Sorry, I don't understand the question. When the ego tries to what?
how would I say that? When you're letting go of the ego controlling your life in a way, is that a hard process to, like, because there's a big fight there, isn't it? Because that's what I feel like. There's a big fight there, and
Yes.
it's like,
Yes.
oh,
It's the mind. It's a fight of ideas.
Hmm.
It's the fight between the good will and the evil will. So the evil will and the good and evil and contents of this I belongs to this I,
uh-oh.
and it wants to cling to one or the other. See, if it identifies with the evil one, it's in conflict with the good one. If it identifies itself as the good one, it's in conflict with the evil one. But that means it is in conflict with itself, with its own content, within its own content. Now, if the I ignores its own content, right?
All right, go across that one. Yeah. There it is.
There you are.
So if the mind remains contentless, means thoughtless, right? Then it will not stand. It cannot stand. See, alone it cannot stand. It can stand only in association with something, right? So the subject without the object cannot disappear because the mind is the subject and the object. It's the knower and the known. It's the thinker and the thought. So the thinker of the thought is also a thought. The seer of the thought is a thought. The experiencer of something is a thought. If it remains single, alone, then that's the meaning of bring the attention from the seen to the seer. The seen will disappear, then the seer will disappear. What remains is what sees, revealed as I. Sorry, I'm running out of battery, so I have to plug the computer. So the attention must be fixed on the subject. But the subject still perceives. But it gets disengaged with thoughts, feelings, emotions, physical sensations, and perceptions. Basically that.
It's a lot. I feel like I'm spinning in a hurricane sometimes with all that happening and people talking and complaining and all of that. It's like, woo.
Because we're giving too much attention to it.
That's what I've realized.
Because you are not paying attention to yourself. All this is because of the lack of inquiry.
It is.
So this I from a thought becomes more subtle. It's just like a sense of self, sense of being, right? Like a mere knowledge of being. But it still is a thought, it still is the mind. That is the mind in its subtlest state or in its purest state. This is the pure ego. Sorry, I keep on losing internet connection for some reason. Let me check the speed.
I need to find that.
Go on. Did you understand?
Sorry?
Do you understand?
Yes. That makes sense. And that's very true.
So self-inquiry will eventually go on throughout our daily activities. It doesn't matter what we are doing, even what we are thinking. Then the thought process that will take place.
I was thinking the same thing. Don't ask what you can.
The thought process that remain is mainly practical. It's not the speed. The speed is good.
There you are.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Now, yeah.
You were frozen.
Yeah, it's strange. The speed is quite good. 196 download and 108 upload. So pretty fast. So if there is a thought, it will be practical, functional. This thinking process doesn't bother anybody. On the contrary, it helps you, see, to navigate through your daily life. What's going on?
That's his side of things if the recording is.
Okay.
That's what I would think anyway.
Sorry, I don't know what is happening because the internet connection is
That's okay.
pretty good. So
Glitch in the matrix.
I don't know. I hope it's whatever else.
Is it windy there?
Not really.
I was thinking, is it our connection? But we're not freezing on your end.
No, everybody gets frozen and then it collapses. It must be on my side.
Ah,
I don't know why.
that's okay.
So all these practical thoughts, leave them alone. They will come by itself, do their job, right? Serve their purpose, and then they will stop.
Right.
The thought that must
Yeah.
the thought that must be avoided means to be ignored. Okay, you cannot avoid them or reject them. It's not the point. But to ignore them, right? By bringing the attention to the seer, are these thoughts about I and the other. See? Which is basically likes and dislikes. The thoughts about myself, what self is that? And thought about the others. Who are the others?
That makes so much sense.
And it's going to happen. So you cannot avoid it. That's the bad news. They will surface. All these thoughts, all these reactions will surface because of the tendencies.
Mm.
The tendencies will produce the thought. And in the same way, the thought produced the tendency. Yes. So all these varies from person to person according to whatever that has been accumulated through experiences and education and right values or whatever it is, right? Conditioning.
Yes.
I say cultural conditioning. Right?
Mm. Cultural conditioning, definitely.
That state of mind, if this mind is fully aware, but it's totally still. As still as it was in deep sleep, yet conscious, awake. But this consciousness is reflected consciousness or relative consciousness.
In that sense, it's still being experienced.
Correct.
So the job is not done until you realize you are that.
That you are that beyond that. But that state leads you to the knowledge of that. This is the so-called samadhi.
Right.
In that state, the mind is differentiated as it was in deep sleep. Sorry, non-differentiated.
Right.
It's in a latent state, potential state. It's not moving, right?
Right.
And in that state, there is no difference between the seer and the seen. This is why it is called non-differentiated state. As if the object merges with the subject. It's what people call, oh, it is all one, I am all. And they believe that this is it. No, this is not it. It leads to the actual knowledge of the self. In that state, it begins to become obvious the presence of consciousness. And it becomes obvious that we are that consciousness itself.
Right.
So this non-differentiation or non-differentiated state is a sine qua non condition, right? It's a mental state. In that state, the mind loses its sense of individuality,
Right.
its body identity. It remains formless, basically, because it doesn't longer take the form of the body that previously it self-identified with, right? So the I is there with an association with any object. So the first object that associates itself with is this one, right? And then another one, right? Mm. Then the witness of that, of the mind, right, begins to reveal itself as I. Clear?
Clear.
Clear.
The inquiry can begin casually, but eventually has to be permanent. It is compared. You are into this health treatment. You may know maybe a little bit of Ayurveda. There is a treatment called Dhara. Have you heard of it? Dhara.
Oh,
The person lays down on a bed and they put a bowl with oil and then they swing a little bit the bowl and then you can feel the oil.
Shiradara. Yeah, I get that done. Yeah.
So the inquiry must be like this. It's like a current of self-awareness.
Oh, that's actually my favorite treatment because I don't know what it does. It's
Hmm.
pretty spectacular. So great analogy.
So it's unbroken. See?
Yeah.
It's called the current of self-awareness. see, or self-observation, or self-attention. So this self that is paying attention to itself will disappear. And then the actual self, okay, remain knowing only itself. No, no. Finish yours. No. So the idea of being disappears. The idea of being, this being is an idea, subtle but still is an idea. The idea of being disappears. And the knowledge of being, the being, see, the self, right, becomes clear, evident. We are not interested in what the body is doing. If it is moving, it's moving. If it is not moving, it's not moving. It's not about keeping the body sitting in a particular position still. No. It may happen, but it's not. We should leave the body alone. We are not interested in body activity or inactivity. Mental activity or mental inactivity. Because the mind can, then focus on to nothing, see, blankness, right? Focus on in no thought, right? Has to remain focused on itself.
So you don't need to just sit in formal meditation to practice. The practice is every waking state.
Who is a meditator? I. If you remain as a meditator, there is no need to meditate. Remain as this I. Then the idea of being this I disappears. Also, don't mistake the I as an object that you will see.
I think I make that.
Is I focusing on I. This I is the snake. If you see the snake, it disappears, right? And what remains is the rope. We believe to be the snake, we really are the rope. Since the snake is a rope, see, the snake looking at itself disappears, right? Because itself is a rope. See, the mind loses its energy to go out and to run after anything, towards any object. Even if the object is not present and you're thinking about it, the mind is already out. Hmm? So the object is there in the form of memory. And memory is a parcel of the mind. Knowledge also. Even the spiritual knowledge, forget about it. Whose knowledge is it? Who's the knower, right?
Yeah.
This is where the focus of attention, see, this is where the attention actually, okay, is directed. That's the meaning of the question, who am I? Right? The mind asks, who am I? And the question, who am I, dissolves the mind. And there is another I that remains. That is not the one that started the inquiry, but the self itself. But it's not a question. At the beginning, okay, the inquiry may take the form of a thought. Okay. But the question, who am I, means let me see myself. It's okay if something comes back. Don't be angry that more thoughts appear or other thoughts appear or what. It's okay. It's good. Means it's coming out. Then by ignoring it, then the mind begins to free itself from all that. Huh? So the outward going tendency of the mind becomes weaker. Hmm? So the self-God tendency of the mind becomes stronger. And then the mind abides more and more, see, in its source. It rests more and more in its source. And eventually it disappears.
Thank you. That makes so much sense.
And all the trouble arises because of the lack of self-inquiry. See, self-inquiry becomes relaxed.
Mm.
Automatically, then the attention goes elsewhere. And then automatically the thought about that kicks in. Mostly, again, in the form of prejudices, likes and dislike, acceptance, rejection. And acceptance or rejection, there must be a preconceived idea that supports it. I like it. Why? Because it matches with my idea of how it is supposed to be. I don't
Yes.
like it. Why? Because it doesn't match with my idea of how this is supposed to be. The other of myself. Whether it is that body or this body, is it that object or this object? This is how the mind let go objects, including the body. And the mind can go so far. The rest is the power of the self, right? That will finally, eventually absorb the mind. That power will reveal itself. And itself is the self.
So what will happen to the mind when that happens?
Hmm?
So does it seem like the mind is just an illusionary?
Yes. Yes. What happened with the salt when you throw it back into the sea?
It dissolves into
Merges.
the ocean.
It dissolves. It doesn't disappear. It dissolves. Right?
Mm.
The sense of separation between the salt and the sea disappears. The salt is the sea. Therefore, there is no salt at all. The sea alone is, which includes the salt, right? And everything else.
Right.
You cannot divide the salt, the sea, into sea and salt, right? The sea in reality is undivisible, non-dual, right? Whole, absolute, right?
Right.
So this subtle eye sense will remain. This is why it says that the sage is permanently in samadhi, right? Effortlessly.
Okay.
If the samadhi is permanent, then self-awareness is permanent. Because samadhi leads to self-awareness. If samadhi is broken, self-awareness is also broken. Even though when the mind of the sage appears to be divided, okay, differentiated, when I and you, this and that, right? Even the apparent sense of differentiation does not cover the non-differentiated state. It doesn't cloud the samadhi.
Right.
The so-called saha samadhi, see, effortless, unbroken.
Right.
When the body dies, then even that is gone. This is maha samadhi, see?
Mm.
So explain Mahasamadhi.
Great. Isn't Maha great?
The greatest. The other one is the small one.
Mm.
This is why it is said that the sage is dead. It's a walking dead.
Mm.
That is the meaning of the analogy when Ramana Maharshi died, that apparently a meteorite or an asteroid or something flew, right, over Arunachala, and then it disappears in it, right? Finally. So then mind doesn't come back, this meteorite doesn't come back.
Right. It's starting to seem like when I get involved in just certain thought patterns, just daydreaming, it's starting to seem like I can see the analogy of the dog chewing the bone with no flesh, and like the mind is just creating this story to entertain itself. So
What is the flavor is of its own thoughts.
yeah,
What is tasting is its own,
yeah, its own creation of thoughts.
whether it's good
Yeah.
one or bad one.
Mm. So it's not seen as real. It seems a lot more artificial.
Correct. Even the seer is not real again, right? The seer of the illusion is part of the illusion. This is why people shouldn't mistake the thoughtless state as a reality of the self. It's very nice, it's very pleasant, but people mistake the thoughtlessness with silence.
Right.
Silence is the reality of the self. It has exclusivity. Exclusivity, can I say?
Uh-huh.
It has a monopoly of silence. The mind is either still or active,
Right.
present or absent. Silence is ever present, but it's not a dead silence.
Sure.
It's alive because it is aware. And even people say that the self is effortless, it's beyond effortlessness also. It is,
Right.
because it doesn't do anything to be. It's called effortless, right? Ramana said there is a state that is neither effort nor effortless. Neither effort or effortlessness, I guess is right to say so, not like that.
Yeah.
That state must be experienced. But when people hear must be experienced, automatically project it as an object, see, that I will experience.
Right. Sure.
Experience it is to experience it as oneself. So to know it as I. Again, people may misunderstand quietness with effortlessness.
Sure.
So for the mind is either effort or no effort. For the self is nothing. See, it's just is. Even to say is effortless, now you're putting something on it, right?
Yeah, sure.
Caesar, when you said, you just said something really simple. You said because, we go through these processes or whatever you want to call them, and you said, it's okay if it happens. It was really interesting because it just felt like my system just went, ah. It's almost like that funny permission, like it's part of the process.
To rest in
Whatever.
to rest
Yeah.
in peace. Meaning by peace the self. See? Because neither the tendencies nor the ego can be dissolved by the ego. So the ego has to become still. So it's not actively doing something about its own imagination. So it is also said that the seer of these two characteristic of the mind, activity or dullness, is a pure aspect of the mind. So the sattvic mind is the seer of the other two. This is why it's called sat va. The word va means it's already it's a reflection of sat. Hmm? So this conscious self is a reflection of consciousness. It's also called aham vitri, see, the modification, see, of aham, I. The self is aham, see, just I am. Right? It's more simple than what people imagine. The mind cannot destroy itself. All this struggle is the mind trying to do something about, oh, the mind trapped in its own, the spider is trapped in its own web. See? The web, the spider web comes out of the spider and then it gets trapped in it. Hmm? How can I get out? How can I get out? That is why also inquiry is called surrender. And when the mind surrenders, the self can't help it. See? But to, you cannot not accept the one that surrenders. It's waiting for it. See, the magneto and the magnetic force or pull are one and the same, right? So the self and its power are one. So if the iron ball is clean, then the magnetic pull can help it, see, but to bring the iron ball towards itself. But if the iron ball is dirty, full of, I don't know, other materials, right? Rust and stuff. It doesn't matter how powerful it is, it won't be able to attract the iron ball, right?
Yes.
So the iron ball is a thought I, and the rust and the dirt are the other thoughts, the tendencies, right? So if the mind becomes still, then all that begins to fall out, right? And then and the sense of separation between the magneto and the iron ball disappears. Good.
Thank you.
Thanks, Cesar.
You're welcome. Then see you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.
Ok. Entonces nos vemos mañana.